If you're tired of dense, flavorless cheesecakes or have no idea how to bake one at home with a perfectly smooth top, then you're gonna love this video. Hey, I'm John Cannell, and you're watching Preppy Kitchen, where I teach you how to make delicious homemade dishes to share with your family and friends. Today we're making this amazing cloud-like confection that is so easy and just beyond delicious. Let's get started. First off, we're making a super easy graham cracker crust, and if you don't have graham crackers around, you can basically use any cookie like Oreos, sure. Digestive biscuits, yes. Everything works, all cookies, really. Okay, I'm just gonna give this a chop. I'm gonna use about 16 to 18 of these crackers. It's kind of up to you. How thick do you want the crust? Look up the toasted pecans, and always toast your pecans. It is so important to use toasted nuts when you bake. It makes a huge difference. They're very fragrant. 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. You can lower this if you want, like you don't have to use any sugar if you're using some sweet cookies, but graham crackers are just kind of like a little sweet. All right, so we're going to pulse this up, and you want to have, fine crumbs basically. Once you have a nice crumbly mixture, we're going to drizzle in some melted butter. Go for about 5 tablespoons. You can kind of eyeball it though. The butter is a binding agent, so if you don't need more, you don't have to add it, but if your mixture is dry, add a little bit more. All right, so take a little bit of the mixture with your spoon, and if you can push it together and it forms a little ball, that's about right. I don't need to add more butter to this, but you could if you love butter. It smells really nice. And by the by, you don't have to use a food processor. You could just crunch these up in a bag, chop the pecans really finely, and then mix with melted butter by hand. In you go. Okay, let's even it out, and we're gonna you can use a cup, you can use a tall glass, just move it out towards the edges, and the key is to get it up high. Don't worry about the bottom, because the bottom's easy to fix. If you wanna press the sides in, get a nice vertical glass, and just press, 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 press. If it spills over a bit, just use your thumb as a guide to hold it down. My crust is almost ready, but the last part is you're just gonna go one more time around the edge, and this time you're gonna press the top down with your thumb a little bit more to help compact it. Otherwise, it'll be really crummy on top, which is fine, but you'll get crumbs on the top of your cake. Don't call me crazy, but from past experience, this helps. This is gonna go into the oven at 350 for just under 10 minutes. You'll smell it, you'll see a little bit of a golden edge, and it's ready to come out. That's all that has to happen. So don't overcook it. And if you're super paranoid and forgetful, just toss it into the fridge and skip the bake. Better than a burnt crust. For the filling, you will need a la Mrs. Crocombe, and you can write a comment if you know who that is and love her too. We're gonna need 4.5 packages or 36 ounces of cream cheese. So that's the 4 ounces, package after package. And this is totally and completely room temperature cream cheese. If you're using cold cream cheese, it is much more likely to be kind of lumpy and just not mix in totally for your cheesecake. And a cheesecake without cracks is a cheesecake with a completely homogeneous filling. So be careful. All right, let's give this a little whip. See how nice that is? All right, I'm gonna add in 1 3/4 cups of sugar now. You can reduce the sugar a bit if you want. You could totally take out 1/2 cup, but the cheesecake is very tangy and the sugar is a nice balance. And this is a big cheesecake. Okay, so not at all done, but I'm gonna scrape the bowl down because there's a lot of unmixed nonsense on the side. And then just let this whip up until it is completely mixed in. Okay. Mix it up. Now is as good a time as any to add in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. A little bit more balance. All right, let's take a look at this. What is this creamy, delicious nonsense over here? Well, this is cream cheese and sugar mixed in nicely. We're ready for our next step. I'm just gonna address the bottom of the bowl and make sure there's no little lumps hiding in here. This spatula is gonna look crazy, so I'm just warning you, it's not gonna get any better. It's a big batch. If cream cheese and sugar is your jam, check out my how to make cream cheese frosting video. It goes so well on carrot cakes, hummingbird cakes, chocolate cakes, every kind of everything right into your mouth. Okay. All mixed up nice and smooth, and now it's time for 3/4 cup of sour cream. This stuff is so good and is one of my favorite things to eat. I get a lot of questions. I don't eat it by the spoonful, but it's really good in things and as a condiment as well. There's a lot of questions I get about substitutions, and if you're using this for most cakes, you can use a full fat yogurt. A little bit more tangy, but a very similar moisture content. Now it's time to mix this in along with 2 teaspoons or even a little bit more of a nice vanilla extract. Okay. This looks delicious. Right now, I'm going to start sprinkling in some flour, just a little bit to bind it together. How much, you ask? 3 tablespoons. It's not nice to get clumps of flour, so you wanna add it in gradually. Nice and slow. Is this totally mixed? No. We have to scrape the bowl down one more time. But this is really nice. It's not lumpy, and that flour is getting mixed in well. What's gonna help things along is our last component, which is the eggs. We can go back to mixing and add in the eggs and yolks one at a time. Instantly it becomes so much silkier, it's kind of amazing. More glossy, loosens the texture up, it's very nice. All right, last yolk. That's a lot of cheesecake batter because we're making a big cheesecake. This is the consistency you want. Smooth, wonderful, loose, glossy batter. Last mix, go get your crust and let's fill it up. I'm ready to pour my smooth as silk batter into my prepared crust. Look at this. What? Are these clouds from heaven? No, it's a giant cheesecake. So you can fill it up pretty high. It's not gonna rise. If you have any extra batter, and I have like a little bit of extra batter, I can use that to make delicious little cheesecake cupcakes. This will all self-level in the oven, so don't go crazy. I was just being me. I'm gonna bake this on a baking sheet so I don't have to worry about like grabbing the cake, kind of manhandling it. It's not gonna drip or anything, but it's just so much easier to take it in and out and not kind of mar the crust or the surface. Trust me, I've been there. All right, this is going into the oven at 350 for just 10 minutes, and we're gonna turn it down to 300 and bake for an additional 40 minutes. It'll be wobbly in the middle, a little bit puffed. Okay, into the oven, 350. You can top your cake with some berries. You could top it with dollops of whipped cream and more berries, or if you want to go like a really quick and easy route that looks crazy beautiful and tastes pretty good too, the canned cherry fillings at your supermarket, some brands are actually pretty good. So just pour a little bit on top and enjoy. If you like this recipe, check out my easy cake playlist. Tons of easy, delicious cakes to delight the palate. Speaking of which, it's time for a bite. Look at that texture, it's like clouds. That is so good. It's like light, fluffy clouds that just melt in your mouth, and topped with whipped cream, there's nothing that could be finer. If you like my videos, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.